What up, y'all? Welcome in to another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent, but there hasn't been a show for a while. The NBA's been on break, so not really a whole lot going on. I've still been betting some college. I'm sure Rob has been probably betting a lot more than me, but last couple days, two plays, two winners. That's been good. College in general has been good for me. So I think I'm 47 and 31 so far this season. So try to keep that going and try to get back to work in the NBA. I think so far in the NBA, pretty sure up a little bit over 20 units. So try to get back to it after the break. Vino, good to be back with you. How's everything going for you?
Things are good, Skee. I'll just quick recap because, like you say, we haven't had any NBA to talk about for a while. College basketball season's been good. Number four for the year on the WagerTalk leaderboard, profit wise. Number two since December the 1st, up about 48 units, I think it is right now. Surviving a rough day from yesterday. NBA though is like a 16-3 streak the last 19. So the NBA, which started out really rough to start the year, has come around. Almost, I think you said it too. Kind of hated to see the All Star break come because things were going pretty well, and then you take the break, and like we were talking off air, it's like starting brand new when you have 6 days off. You have to sit here and learn about the new squads, the new rotations, whether it's rest or rust. We'll get into all of it here today, but it's not the easiest day of all when they come back from break.
I agree. And yeah, today, my bad, you guys. We're not going to have banners. It is my fault. I didn't make any banners today, but big slate. We're not going to go through every game today. We will talk about a few of the main games, see if we can find some money. So let's start at the top. We'll go Atlanta and Philly. Opened up -4.5 for Philly is down to 2 or 1.5. Total open 235.5. It looks like 236 or 236.5. Looking at the injury report, Kaminga's still not ready to be out there for Atlanta. Everybody else is available. For Philly, they'll be without both Embiid and Paul George. Um, this line is crashing. Was it maybe just because Embiid was rolled out? Um, honestly, right now, I do think I just prefer the Atlanta side. I think that they're pretty deep team right now. Um, the healthier team. I think that they can win this game. What about you, Ravina?
Yeah, I think so as well, Ski. It'll be the third time that they played this season, 120 to 117. Atlanta last time, that's 237 for those looking at the total tonight, which is at 237 and a half, 238 and a half, anywhere in between those two numbers. And they played a double overtime, 142 to 134. So a couple of high scoring games between these two. Went back just to make sure what the Sixers have done without Joel Embiid. Played 18 games, and only five of the 18 have gone over this number, 237 and a half. So it shows you how large this one is. I find it interesting that, going through some quotes the way I do, Dyson Daniels had a little bit to say about their defensive execution. Um, he talked about having a lot of breakdowns on defense the last game they played, not being able to guard pick and roll, the fact that the communication was bad. And I know, and it's not earth-shattering news, but I know you like to say all the time when a team starts talking about something, the focus the next game around should be on that. And you would think Atlanta's focus here would be on defense. I think Atlanta also needs the game a little bit more, Ski. They're in 10th spot in the East, and they're not that secure in that spot. Only 1.5 games ahead, one and a half games out. I should probably put it that way, of being out of the play-in spot. So Atlanta's got to rattle off some wins here. Nick Nurse talked about the team adding some variety to their offense during the break. But again, I don't know how much of that comes to fruition here right off the bat, first game back after 6. It is also interesting to me that Joel Embiid, with all this time off and no game tomorrow, can't even play tonight. So I don't know what the deal is with him. You would think with no game tomorrow he would play here, but he's not. Philly gets quicker when he's not on the floor, but I don't know that means they're higher scoring. So for me, I think I would lean Atlanta here. despite the fact that you are getting the ass end of the number at this point in time. You're only taking 1.5 when you could have taken 4.5. But I just feel like Atlanta is one of those teams, and I'll talk about a couple today that need to surge here in the second half. They made moves at the trade deadline for a reason. They're deep at this point in time. I would lean toward the Hawks.
We're in agreement on that. Mark in the chat likes the over, leaning towards the Hawks as well. Yeah, I do think they're the right side. The market, is pushing it that way, whether it's that or injury news. I think the number is moving the right direction. Another game we can talk about here that is going to be Detroit and New York. It did open up -3. It's up to 4.5. Total went from 221.5 as high as 224.5. Injuries, I see everybody. Actually, I see McBride out, and Anobi is probable. Other than that, Knicks pretty good to go. For the Pistons, Duran and Stewart are out, so still suspended. From that fight, could cost them here. I mean, it should. I don't know, Vino. If it, I don't, it feels very, very easy to go and take the Knicks here tonight, and 1+1 = 2. I can understand the Knicks winning by a big margin, but I don't know. Something just it's not sitting right with me. How do you feel about this game?
Well, I may fall into the 1+1 = 2 trap, Steve, because it looks like a Knicks. First of all, from a fundamental standpoint, what you just mentioned, the two bigs are gone here for Detroit. New York should be able to do some damage inside. They should be able to do some work on the boards, both ends of the floor. But beyond that, the Knicks have been embarrassed by Detroit twice now by insane amounts of points. And if there's ever, these two are going to see each other, or likely to see each other in the playoffs at some point in time. And for the Knicks, this has to be kind of a sense of urgency game. Like, we've been blown out by these dudes twice. At some point, we have to show up. So if you're not going to show up when Duran and Stewart aren't in the middle, clogging up the paint, protecting the rim, then at that point, I'll lose a bet, and I'll know that Detroit is just flat out the better team than the Knicks. Miserable matchup, never going to work for the Knicks. So you've got home floor. We know the Knicks are a better team on their home floor. And again, I just think that the focus level for New York should be 100% motivated tonight and ready to go against this team in particular. So for me, it would be the Knicks. And that's taken nothing away from Detroit, because we've said oftentimes here on the show that Detroit's just one of those teams like OKC last year that's going to give you effort every game. And I'm sure Detroit's going to come to play. Just think, being shorthanded, having the Knicks in kind of a revenge type mode, Knicks at home, small price. I'll try Knicks -3.5.
I get it. Like I said, if 1+1 = 2, you'll be at that window tonight, Rob.
makes too much sense, right?
Yeah, you know how it gets sometimes in the NBA. Yeah, my bad over here. I'm trying desperately I just DoorDash the charger for my MacBook because I can't find whatever one I thought I packed for when I left. So I got it here at least. My computer won't die. But if you see me looking down and messing around, that's what I'm doing. I'm still listening.
We get it over quick.
All right, next game. Yeah, let's go to the bottom. We'll talk Nuggets and Clippers. Opened up -3.5 and 4.5. Pretty much. I mean, I think mostly 4.5s, but you can get a 4 if you were like the Nugget side. Total open 225.5, sitting right around there. Injury report, you do have Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, both out. Pickett is probable. For the Clippers, no Garland. This is one of those games where I'm hearing a lot of, how do I say? I hear a lot of the team that hosted the All-Star break. That usually, don't play well in that first game afterwards. And I don't know. You got you're minus Peyton Watson and Aaron Gordon, who are both big deals defensively, offensively, in general, just big deals for this Denver team. How are you replacing that forward position? I don't know. And then you have Jokic and Murray both coming back from All Star as well. They participated. I don't know. I don't know if you know something. I feel like this is more of a Clipper spot. I feel like Kawhi can keep them in the game and keep this one respectable, if not win. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Kawhi looks like the best player on the court tonight. We know Jokic is the best player, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kawhi has a night. And I think that could be enough to keep this one within 4 points. What do you think about that?
I don't doubt it. I think that Denver is one of these teams, and I love when you said participated, because participated can be in different activities over All-Star break. Like you could participate in the game, you could participate in the 75 parties that are going on. Jokic isn't one of those guys Jokic isn't going to these parties. he's participating in the game, and he's letting the Hennessy and everything else to other people. So I don't really doubt Denver coming back and being ready to make a second half push. In fact, I actually count on Denver to come back ready to make a second half push. That being said, you said something last week when the Clippers made a couple of trades, and I think it was that Kawhi plays better with Brook Lopez than he did with Zubats at
Yep.
center. And it kind of turned out that way, the one game or so that they've had together. And so I don't want to discount the Clippers here either, because to tell you the truth, I don't know that Kawhi is one of those that's running around to parties either. I think the Clippers are ready to make some kind of run. For me, this one was fairly simple. You talked about how you're going to replace the defense that's missing for Denver, and I agree. Denver's not a good defensive team to start with. Kawhi's been scoring like crazy as of late. We have Mathurin off the bench now for this team. The Clippers just look like a better group personnel-wise than they did before, as far as pecking order is concerned. I'll put it that way. So I think Denver's going to give up points. I think they'll win the game. I think they'll give up points, and I think they'll score points because it's what they do best. It's very difficult to stop them. And I don't know that aside from Kawhi, Derek Jones Jr. is a nice defensive player as well, but I don't know that the Clippers are as strong a defensive unit as we're used to. So to me, 226 looked a little bit low. They bet it up from 225 and a half to 226. I think 226 is more than doable here. I could see like a 117, 113, 116, 113, which would put me over the number. So I do like Denver Clippers over the total tonight.
I'm surprised you're not well, I guess you can include both sides here. Thought Clippers team total could be a little nice price. I'm trying to see what we get here for a Clippers team total. Let me get over here. Clippers team total 111.5.
Very doable.
I feel like Denver gives that up routinely. And especially minus, let me just take another look here at Denver. When's the last time? All of February, they've given up 116 plus. First game after the break, they're going to be that interested offensively. Clippers team total could be a very good look there.
I should have said this too, Skee, real quick, because I made a big deal out of the Knicks having a double revenge spot. But the Knicks' revenge spots, they were blown out twice. But the Clippers have lost twice to the Nuggets already. And so for two teams that, are likely to see each other somewhere down the road, you would think LA would have a little bit of something in them here tonight to say to Denver after going 0-2 against them. And by the way, the most recent one scored 231. Was 122-109 Denver on January the 30th, not all that long ago.
Yeah, Clippers sitting at 26 and 28, 10th in the West. They should be the hungrier team at home. That's what I would think. All right. You know what, Vino? On that note, I kind of feel like, I haven't pushed a whole lot of buttons today, but if I'm pushing a button,
that's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody gotta say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
Those 4.5 points are calling my name, Vino.
I have to say, when you said push a button, that took me by surprise. I did not know that was the button you were going to push. I thought you were going to make a bet, and then I heard that.
Now I
That
want to bet the
sound.
Clippers. I do. I want to bet the
Mhm.
Clippers. That's my dog of the day right there. I think that's the right side. Everybody want to go. And I don't think you have to rush. I mean, everybody's running to the window to go say, the team that hosted the All-Star break sucks the first game after and just fading it. I think that the Clippers can be in this game. So I'll wait. I'll see what I can get. But that's my dog for today. All right, Vino. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, I think that we did the most we could do here. There's a lot of other games on the slate, guys. We apologize, but it's hard to work with these games, the rest versus rust stuff. Who's going to come? How these lineups are going to work? Probably take us a day or two before we get back into full blown schedule coverage. But those three, I thought I had a little insight into.
Yeah. Like I said before, I'm not the kind of person. I don't like when rhythm is disrupted. So I'm not. This is not the day where you're going to see a lot of bets from Skee. I'm just trying to pick and choose, and yeah, that's why we didn't talk about all the games today. But probably by next week, we'll be good to go again. We'll have a good flow going again. On that note, though, before we get to best bets, I'm pretty sure this is still good here. 10-day all access for the price of seven. You save $69 there. I know they still. I deleted the graphic. I guess I shouldn't have. But they still do have that. The 1 year, you get what is it, $500 off, and you get the bonus coupon. I remember we had that one. That one is still up. And yeah, on that note, I'm gonna pass it to you, Vino. If there's anything else you'd like to promote, feel free. And if you have a best bet, we love to hear it. If you don't, all good.
All right, so let's go ahead and get the best bets here, Ski. And I'm gonna, you know, I may be wrong for doing the 1 + 1 = 2, but I have to play the Knicks here tonight. I just, if the Knicks have any pride whatsoever, you show up and you win this game at home by 5 or more points against Detroit, especially when they're shorthanded here in the interior. It's kind of a cluster injury at the rim for the Pistons. Paul Reed is your center in this game, so Cat and company should be able to do some damage here. And like I say, the mindset, I'm not applying rest or rust to this under the assumption that the Knicks are just going to be so motivated that it won't matter in front of the home crowd. So give me the Knicks best bet today, -3.5. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully they get there by 4 or 5+.
All right, good stuff from Vino. For myself, I'm taking it slow today. So I have made one bet, but it's I just can't give it out because I gave it out on $5 Tuesday, and it just wouldn't be right to those people to just give it out here on the show. So I'm not gonna have a best bet, but I will promote one more thing. On my page there is NBA through the finals for 349, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, what, February, March, April, May, until June. I mean, that's less than $100 a month if you want to be involved. So, and you'll get them as I release everything throughout the day. That's kind of how I bet anyway. So, appreciate you guys for rocking with us. Appreciate you, Ravino, for taking the time to cap the games with us. Cal Trey says, much love, welcome back. Lee Vig says, two of the best to do it. Appreciate you guys. And Mark said, a great show as usual. So appreciate y'all in the chat. Vino, we'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see if we can. Might like a little things a little bit better tomorrow. We'll see. But good to be back with you. So everybody will catch you tomorrow. Until then,